Having the ability to take just about any addressable LED strip and make it smart for so cheap is going to result in my house getting out of control. See, I've been wanting to make this windowsill in my kitchen a little more usable for a while now, and something in me made me look at this window recently and think, I've got an offcut of LEDs about the right length for that window, and suddenly it all came together in my head. And before I knew it, I had a proof of concept set up. So one LED strip, Wi-Fi controller and plank of wood later, and I'm creating a new deeper shelf for the windowsill in my kitchen. Here I'm taking some diffuser channel and sticking it to the board that I'm going to stick to my shelf, just cutting off the second piece so it's the right length, and then just getting it all cleaned up and stuck down to the bottom of the shelf in the right position in advance. Now let's have a look at that offcut of LED strip itself. This has come off of a 5-meter reel that I've used previously somewhere else. So as you can see, I've attached this little tail here using these handy little 3-pin connectors that allow me to put the wire on the end of the LED strip that it needs to go on, because obviously addressable LED strips only work in one direction. So the tail on the other end is no good. As you can see by fluke, the LED strip is exactly the right length. So I've just put it in this diffuser channel here, because unfortunately this is not PU coated like many strips. It is a bare printed circuit board. So I'm just going to make sure it's protected from any splashing water from my sink by putting it in this diffuser channel, which should make it more splash proof. Once it's all in the channel nice and neatly here, we're going to pop on those diffusers. I'm then simply going to put some double-sided gecko tape on the shelf once it's all nice and clean. Because this is merely extending the windowsill that's already there by a very small margin, I'm just going to stick this to the windowsill, as that should be more than secure enough to keep it in place with the few items that we're going to have put on top and the LED strip underneath. Annoyingly though, when I was putting the shelf in place, I was undone by my own stupidity. I did not account for something that I had previously stuck to the edge of the windowsill when I was sticking the LED strip to the bottom of the shelf. So I ended up having to unstick this in order to be able to stick the shelf down. Once I'd eventually resolved this minor blunder, I could stick the connector back together on the end of the shelf, as you can see here, and finally get the shelf into place. I'm just going to lower it down here very carefully, pushing it all the way to the back, and then just push on the gecko tape the whole way along the shelf so that it sticks down nice and securely. And that is the shelf in place. And then all we've got to do is plug in the Wi-Fi controller at the end of the strip into power again. We can give it a little test. Now, since I already have an Aqara FP2 presence sensor in my kitchen, it was a simple matter of creating a zone around the sink and a couple of automations that when you walk into that zone, the light turns on, and when you walk out after a couple of seconds of no one being there, the light will turn off. And of course, since it's an addressable LED strip, which is completely overkill for this use case, you can do cool effects like these, and many, many more. These are just a couple that are pre-programmed into the software on the circuit boards, which I am now officially selling in the TikTok shop. And when the next batch of completed boards arrives, they will also be available on Amazon. So, as always, if you'd like any of the products featured in this video, they are available on my website, which the link to is in my bio. And as this final effect counts down, as always, remember, home is where the smart is.